I skipped ahead on making another video, and I mentioned in that video that I would probably use a show from the beginning to where I was at to try and help if someone wanted to start creating their own map. So if you watched it first, then that's why I give that explanation. If you watch this first, of course, explanation is not needed. But you need Giants Editor. You can get that from the Giants Developer Network website. But you want to go to New Mod from Game. And it's going to open this directory. You have some selections here. You got a sample mod map 2, sample mod map 1. 1 I believe is the Denmark, the 2 is the US one. And then of course if you want to venture into making vehicle mods, I've never did that. Thought I might try one day, but just don't have time. There's a lot of people making mods, but we'll select this first one. Yeah, that's going to be the Denmark one. Yeah, the second one's the US one. So either one, it's whatever you prefer. Uh, let's open, and you can change. You can change the directory where you want to save it or open it to. That'll open. Let's give it a second. This usually don't take, but I just got a lot of stuff going on my desktop, so I'll pause this thing. Just paused it, and when I paused it, popped in. But uh, this is it. You have a map. Now this one looks the way it does because I've already exported and did some heroic work and kind of screwed it up, or not screwed it up, but uh, just done did a bunch of landscaping. So anyway, so yours will not look like that, of course, but I could do the yeah, anyway, all you have to do is after that is export all with files. In that directory, it's going to create your mod map. The only error you should be seeing is the one about the Bush 01, which Giants said that that was built into the program of the game, so they're working on a fix, or may not fix it at all, but it's gonna always be there. But unless there's some type of update that. Alright, it's finished. That's how many seconds it took. No, we're not gonna save it. Go to the documents, my documents, FS17 mods. If you didn't change the uh, the file name or location, and it's going to give you the list of files you need. So let's see here. It should look exactly or what I exported. Like I said, I made a mistake and started editing this thing, and it's going to look like that anyway. So this is the map. Let's see. You can see where I did all this landscaping stuff. But anyways, yours will not look like that if you didn't. It'll actually look like the original. But I tell you what, let's do this. No, let's just create a new mod from the game and create the Denmark one. See what it looks like. I'm gonna change the. Yeah, let's just do that. Alright, here it is. The Denmark one that I have not messed with. But as you can see, everything's in place. And that's what it'll look like. What you want to do is export all with files. It shouldn't take, but nope, it's done. Alright, let's go. No. Let's see. There's the one. The Denmark one. Or the American one if you did the American one. Let's open that up. And of course this is your map. Now you can edit it in that location or move it to your mods folder, but let's do, we didn't do anything, so let's do, you can name this whatever. I usually just go ahead and start naming it or try and pick a name for my map. If you don't have one, let's just say, I don't know, my map. And I usually just go ahead and move it to my mods folder, which I've already started on one. Now what you got is these files, your mod description. It's going to show the author or whatever name you have for your game. You got some the mod map ID. This when you see these, it means that it's pulling from the default directory of the game, so you don't have to store a lot of stuff inside your mod folder. When you open it, it'll pull the missions from the game engine itself. And since this is the Denmark one, the other one I believe will say map US. That's a XML file, your default vehicle file, and your default items. That's what happens is inside the mod folder, the game recognizes, it looks for this mod description, which in turn tells the game to start looking in other locations for other things. And this here, the config file, will be an important one, because what it does is this map DE XML. This is kind of the nuts and bolts. And when you start changing the names, especially like your i3D file, if you when you export it, it's going to export it to whatever you did it. But if it says map US and you want to change it to map 01 or whatever you decide to name your game, just try and plan ahead and do that first. So you'll need to change the name of this if you change the name of this file. Some of these you can store locally. I created a script folder. My mod description right here. I left some of these so it would pull it from the game, probably do some edits on it later. Uh, haven't really played the game that much and haven't really tried to figure out what or how things are being used. I just realized I didn't like the default maps, like always, but they do a lot of detail. The maps are real pretty, but I easily just like the farm. So I start changing and doing things the way I want and like. But anytime you move or rename, just remember these files. Your mod description starts pointing to this file, and then this file starts pointing to other files you need. So as you start changing things and updating stuff, uh, you'll need to make sure the names, locations, these are commented out. Of course, you just remove the comments to so it's seen by the game. I moved these actually up here and put these files locally, as you can see, like your fill tops, root tops, spray tops. I put them all up here, and I moved them to a folder locally, which is I created a scripts folder and stuck them all in there. So, but that's it. Just remember these these files. They work like a daisy chain. It's going to look for this, and this has got this and this, and then you can change. That's your icons, things like that. You can edit those in Photoshop or something to make it what you want. And don't forget to make backup of a backup of a backup of a backup. And then you can edit this PDA to what your PDA is going to look like. I did another video where I started laying out the fields and things like that, but I'm fixing to do another video on how to edit the sellable or buyable farmlands inside the map where you have to buy each plot of land. Fixing to do a quick video on that. Took me several hours last night to figure it out. I just about beat my head in. But as you work on your map and do things, just remember try and do it in stages if you like, and uh, as long as it loads in game, you can save that to a folder somewhere else, and then start editing, create a copy, and start editing some more stuff. And as long as you don't get too far, if you have a mistake, if you can't correct it or go back and fix it, at least you don't lose a lot of work that you've already did, especially when you start setting tedious things and sorting things out. And then as you load in the game and start playing, looking around, you start realizing that you don't want something there and you do want something, or it's the way I do it, is try and figure out the flow that I like the best, and flow and kind of shape the map the way I like to play it. But I hope this helps. If you need any help, let me know. I'll try my best. I just don't have the time I used to have to do this stuff, and this is just thought I'd create my own map to play in the game, and maybe help some people out along the way. Thank you.